on the list. Learn when to respect kids' boundaries, ease your joints with a low-impact workout, and
It's just a substitute for like your normal noodle.
discover how to eat your way to better health.
Hello, little friend. Oh my gosh, it's delicious.
Plus,
Would you please welcome Mr. Shane Hawkins on the drums.
Dave Grohl on what the future holds for Foo Fighters. But first, quiet quitting. Now there's quiet firing. How to take control of your career. It's your life, it's your list, and it starts right now.
Hey friends, I'm Christina Guerrero.
And I'm Jimmy Rhodes, and by now you've probably heard of quiet quitting. It's a phenomenon where workers scrape by doing as little as they can.
Well guys, now it's spawned the birth of a phrase describing another workplace situation.
Kind of the flip side. Teresa Strasser's looking at quiet firing and how to fight back if you think you're a victim. That's our featured story at the top of the list.
You've probably heard the term quiet quitting, the act of doing the minimum amount of work required at your job. But what about quiet firing?
Quiet firing is when managers create an environment where employees will actually want to quit because of that environment.
In fact, this can be a passive-aggressive move by a manager to get an employee out the door.
They just don't want to go through all the complications and the hassles that can be involved in firing someone.
Scott Mouts, author of Leading from the Middle, shares his tips on how to fight back if you feel like a victim of this phenomenon. If you feel like it's happening to you, go to your manager and discuss expectations.
A lot of people mistakenly say, okay, what I need to do is go into accusation mode. I know you're trying to get me to quit, boss. Here's my evidence, bing, bing, bing. That never works.
Instead, ask to discuss your role and responsibilities.
This begins to open up the reasons why they might be trying to quiet fire you but aren't really telling you. It's safe, neutral ground.
Bring in a written version of your job description and an employee handbook if one is available. Once you do that, insist on feedback.
If you're being quiet fired, you're being quiet fired by someone that obviously doesn't want to take the time to sit down and work with you.
This can give you insight into where you stand and why.
Okay, I see. They're really unhappy. Maybe they really are trying to quiet fire me. Or maybe it was they actually think you're doing better than you think you are, and you're reading into things that aren't really there.
You may need to take this to human resources, but before you do, take some time for introspection.
You really have to ask yourself, could I be part of the problem?
Scott says people too often make the mistake of jumping to the conclusion that this is all their boss's fault.
My boss is a jerk. He wants to fire me. He won't tell me. Am I part of it? What gives you the reason to do that now is you'll be clear on expectations. You will have gotten feedback.
After you consider that feedback, ask what you can do to improve the situation.
If the boss indeed isn't giving you a raise and hasn't given you one for a long time, talk to them about why you need a raise, why it's important for you.
If your boss is blowing off your one-on-one meetings,
You need to stop canceling. That's important to me.
if that still doesn't work, seek help from human resources.
Tell them the discussions you've had, how you got clear on expectations, the feedback you've gotten.
Show them your documentation and ask for their help.
Making sure that my boss is clear that you can't just get away with quietly firing me. You have to give me a chance to improve.
In the end, know that you're not alone.
LinkedIn ran a poll that showed a staggering 83% of us feel like we have experienced quiet firing before.
This is not a battle you have to take on by yourself.
It helps to talk to other people. I better do something about it sooner versus later. So that outside perspective really can help.
Fighting back against quiet firing at the top of the list.
Well, here's another new term for you to chew on: reducetarianism. It's all about cutting down your intake of meat or dairy products in order to improve your health and protect the environment. We are looking at the benefits and a few recipes to make the transition tastier.
If you've ever thought about cleaner eating, reducetarianism might be for you.
What it is reducing the amount of, carbon footprint that you create by the what you take in or what you use.
Nico Danielle, owner of Santee Restaurant, an organic eatery with products that reduce the carbon footprint, is teaching us the basics of reducetarianism, alongside executive chef Saul Velasquez, who is sharing a few recipes to help you get started.
We as restaurateurs have the opportunity to make a big impact by by the choices we make, because we buy lots and lots of animal products, lots and lots of veg, lots of fruit. So if we are able to share, with the public what's on our menu and why we do what we do, we're making a larger impact.
For our first reducedarianism dish, we are going meatless with the kelp noodle salad.
Kelp sounds like something I might find in the ocean.
Yes,
Okay.
kelp derives from basically it's seaweed, and it's just a substitute for like your normal noodle. So you're gonna get a crunchiness from it, and it's all good for you.
This is already so healthy. I can't even handle it.
We're gonna go a little bit of cilantro following after that, a little bit of Fresno chilies.
Add sesame seed oil, lime juice, and almond and ginger dressing.
Now we have a little bit of roasted cashews in there.
Oh my gosh, this looks delicious. Can I dig in?
Go ahead.
There's a little bit of that heat, but it's so bright with so many different flavors.
Up next, the salmon belly crudo.
Our salmon comes from Norway, so it is a
Wow.
corvée salmon. It is a farm-raised salmon. The way that they feed the actual fish themselves, it's just like if they were in the wild.
By finding farms like this, it allows you to know exactly how your food is being handled.
We're gonna make a little bit of an Asian slaw that goes on the side, with a little bit of ponzu and a little bit of mango and some papaya on it as well.
Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. That's magical. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad that this little fishy came all the way from Norway to hang out with me today.
Lastly, the raw chilled zucchini vegan lasagna.
Instead of using regular cheese, we make our own ricotta cheese in-house, but we use cashews. We also make a tomato chutney as well, which that is gonna be our main two fillings. We're going in the lasagna, about 5 layers high. Pasta is our zucchini. So this is a raw zucchini. We're gonna go right into the bottom. And then we're gonna start off with our cashew ricotta.
Using vegan cheeses and chutney allows for you to stay on the reducetarianism diet while still getting all the delicious flavors. Continue for 5 layers, then add your veggie toppings and top with oil.
What a surprise!
Right?
We are teaching you how to live life the reducetarianism way.
Okay, take it from someone who's had 2 of them. Raising a teenager has its ups and downs. A big part of the challenge is that as they grow, our parenting skills have to evolve. Jackie Denker is sharing how to go from being our child's manager to our teen's consultant and how to keep the connection strong along the way.
When our kids become teenagers, a lot changes.
When we've got younger children, we really are kind of managing a lot more. And as we move into being the parent of a teen, the same amount of managing can actually cause some problems.
So to learn how to shift from being our teen's manager to more of a consultant, we turned to parenting expert and founder and CEO of the Conscious Parenting Revolution, Catherine Sellery. First up, make home a judgment-free zone.
Creating a safe space for your child's individuation process is crucial to maintaining a happy and healthy parenting relationship. So if you have a child who's acting in ways that are upsetting to you,
for example,
going in the room, shutting the door loudly, it could look like, I hate you, mommy, I hate you, daddy.
So instead of judging these behaviors,
we are able to shift to the underlying mind of the person that's emanating the behaviors rather than being in reaction to the behaviors.
So to get to the bottom of those behaviors, keep the lines of communication open.
Rather than scolding them, you connect with what you're guessing to be is the underlying feeling and need.
She suggests saying something like,
it seems like there's an incident or something that's happened. I'm just wondering, if you'd be willing to share.
And if they don't want to share, just spending quality time with them works wonders.
So simple things like running errands together, eating dinner together, create space for open communication between you and your kids.
Moving along with, be available, but don't pry.
The more you try to manage your teen's obstacles or insert yourself into their decision-making process, the more they want to turn away from you.
She says it's important for them to feel independent.
So as important as it is to be available for your teen, don't take it personally when they aren't interested in talking to you. Respect their space by not prying or forcing them into a conversation. What they may need most is peace and quiet, and honoring that could help them more than you realize.
finally, she says it's important to reinforce support.
Everybody needs to be reminded that the people who love us want to be there for us, and teenagers are no exception. So every now and then, remind your kid that you're a safe person for them to go to if they need to talk or want guidance.
Learning how to evolve our parenting styles to support our teens.
Still to come on the list.
I'm feeling on the outside of my hip joint.
Work your core muscles with a low-impact workout.
Whew. And again, way harder with this thing on.
Plus, using social media to pay it forward.
She says she's selling these for 25 a piece, so we want to send her home for the day.
And
Can a drummer boy.
Dave Grohl remembers drummer Taylor Hawkins.
He came off like a real actor in the film.
Next on the list.
Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, if you're looking to get into shape, guess what? You do not have to join a gym or figure out where to store a bunch of workout equipment.
Nah, that's the old way of doing things. Instead, I have a solution that doesn't eat up a lot of money or space.
Ooh.
I'm getting swole with the power of fitness bands.
Gyms are loaded with equipment, but you can do a lot of toning and tightening with one much simpler item.
Joey, we're in this gym. I'm seeing iron everywhere, lots of equipment. What the heck is this gonna do for me?
Mini bands are amazing.
I went to Los Campeones Gym in Tempe, Arizona with fitness and nutrition expert Joey Thurman to learn how to strengthen my muscle groups with mini bands.
Think of that like a large rubber band. So as you pull it, the resistance is variable and gets tighter. There is a time and place to use these, and right now is that time.
Let's start with the body's largest muscles, the glutes.
We're gonna put this around the feet, okay? So
around the feet.
Let's step into it, okay? Like you're getting ready for a date here.
Yeah.
All right, so
All right,
down by the ankles, okay? So when we're doing this is a monster walk. So we're gonna walk forward and back. So here, you should even feel your glutes, glute medius turning on right now. So we're gonna go choppy with it. Step 1 foot forward, keep the resistance on that band, right?
Okay.
And then chop, move the arm with it. Chop, boom, chop. Opposite arm, opposite leg, hit it.
Woo! Go forward 10 steps, then backwards 10. Do this 3 times.
But I'm feeling on the outside of my hip joint. Is that where I'm supposed to feel it?
Right on the outside, that glute medius and glute minimus, right in that back pocket area. That'll give you that boop, badunk-a-dunk.
Next, abs and shoulders. Start by putting the band around your wrists.
I call this 3-way taps. So we're coming down as if you were gonna do a push-up. So we're gonna go front, 1, back to neutral, out, 2, back to neutral, back, 3. So let's go one side at a time. You ready? Let's go 5 each side. Let's go. 1, boom, out, back, boom, forward, out, back, woo, forward, out, back. That's it. Forward like a fitness video. Back.
Do 5 on each side, rest for 30 seconds, and repeat 2 more times. Finally, back and legs.
We're gonna bring this around your wrist like you're handcuffed. You ever been handcuffed?
Thankfully, no.
All right, no officer, I didn't do it. Now we're gonna go into a split squat position. So just think about pulling here, right?
Okay.
Now this turns on the shoulders already, okay? So we're gonna go into a split squat here. We're pushing out, loading this leg, and then once you pulling back, shoulder blades back, push out, reach, 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 pull back. Feel that? Reach, keep pulling that band apart. There we go.
Do 10 reps, rest 30 seconds, and repeat.
Way harder with this thing on, because I'm feeling on the outside here.
Exactly.
Snap it into shape with mini bands. Well, as we continue our celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, we are looking at 3 Latinx content creators that are leaving their mark through education and inspiration. Coming in at number 1 is Fernanda Cortez X.
Did you know that the fictional town in Coco called Santa Cecilia was actually inspired by a town in Mexico in real life?
Cortez began a series on TikTok called Badass Latinas in History to highlight and teach others about influential Latinas.
El show de Cristina was loved in so many Latino households, including my own. It was always on TV.
And with more than 700,000 followers, she also educates others about Latinx culture.
And we're going to start off with quinceañeras.
Oh, I do love that. All right, up next is Juice.
We're here in LA. We're about to do some donations. I'm super excited, as always. Thank you guys for your support.
After losing his job due to the pandemic, he turned to TikTok to help those in need.
I can't imagine standing here all day just to not even know how much you're gonna make. My people are out here hustling every day.
He drives around California to support different street vendors.
¿A cuánto venden las flores? ¿Cuántas más flores tiene?
¿Cuántas quiere?
Todas las que tenga. Just checking how many flowers she has right now, so we want to send her home for the day.
His donations come from his followers who support his incredible work.
Le voy a dar $1000, señor. Ese dinero viene con muchísimo amor, parte de mis seguidores de mis redes sociales.
Ah, so amazing. At number 3 is Cat Voltage.
And I also run a social media account on Instagram as well as here, where I talk about my experience as an engineer, my experience during college.
After graduating with a degree in electrical engineering, she noticed there weren't many Latinas in her field, so
I started using my social media accounts to expose women and girls to engineering and electronics in a fun way.
She shares with others her experience in NASA, her career, and her latest trip to space.
You may have noticed something about that video, which is, why do I look so confused? Let's watch it again.
I forget.
Simple answer, I was very confused. Let me tell you why.
She made history as the first Mexican-born woman to go to space. So inspiring. And those were 3 Latinx creators that are leaving their mark. Lots more to come on the list. Stay with us. We're back with the legendary frontman of Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl. Hattie DeJamal is talking to him about the greatness of the late drummer Taylor Hawkins and what the future holds for the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer.
The Foo Fighters became an instant success in 1994 after the release of their first self-titled album.
I know that's true.
The band was founded by Nirvana drummer Dave Grohl after the untimely death of Kurt Cobain. And this past March, Grohl lost another bandmate, drummer Taylor Hawkins.
Someone get in the best of you.
We caught up with the iconic frontman and guitarist back in March, and he talked the past, present, and future of the Foo Fighters.
The thing I love the most about the Foo Fighters is playing as a band.
The band first stepped back on stage last month for memorial concerts in London and Los Angeles to honor the life and legacy of Taylor Hawkins.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have one more drummer that's going to come up and play with us tonight.
Multiple special guests came out to perform and pay their respects, but perhaps the biggest applause came when Taylor's son took the stage.
Mr. Shane Hawkins on the drums.
You can watch the entire London tribute show on Paramount Plus now. A month before Hawkins' death, the band released the musical horror comedy film Studio 666, the first non-documentary film to feature the Foo Fighters. The band had filmed the movie in secret in the same location they recorded their album Medicine at Midnight.
I thought, oh, wait a second, we're in a creepy old house. Why don't we just get some cameras and we'll invite some people and we'll make this really low budget film. And then it totally just exploded into a full-length feature film. It was really, really fun to make.
A couple of ideas I've been working on. I'll lay them on you.
Dude, wait. It's called Everlong, and you wrote it about 20 years ago.
Hawkins shines in the movie because he had a strong desire to make sure the movie felt as real as possible.
So basically everything out of Taylor's mouth is totally improv. And I think because of that, he came off like a real actor in the film. He's the most natural of all of us, and it's because he refused to read the script.
Can it, drummer boy?
Studio 666 is on Blu-ray, DVD, Stars, and on demand now.
You're welcome, music.
Despite losing Hawkins far too soon, Grohl hopes to continue his legacy with the band.
Like, the best thing about being in the Foo Fighters is being the Foo Fighters. And that means going into the studio, writing songs, making records, getting out on stage and playing in front of live audiences. That's what we do.
That's musician Dave Grohl on the past, present, and future of the Foo Fighters. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. It's time for what's last on our list, and let's talk about dying skill sets. Take a look at this article from The Atlantic. It's by the former president of Harvard, and the title says, Gen Z never learned to read cursive.
Which is crazy because I'm actually really good at writing cursive.
Well, good for you. I tried handwriting a thank you note recently. At this point, my cursive looks like I'm getting pelted by dodgeballs during turbulence.
That's terrible. Here's the problem. In 2010, the Revised Common Core dropped teaching cursive, but some research shows that handwriting can have positive impacts on motor skills, brain development, and that you retain and understand things better when you write them down by hand.
Which, by the way, is why about 20 states have brought cursive back to the classroom, but got me thinking about other skills that are kind of fallen by the wayside. My son's renting an apartment, and they asked him to write a check for the deposit.
I mean, who writes a check anymore, right?
Exactly. Two things about that. First of all, he doesn't even own a checkbook, neither do I, by the way. And second, even if he did, he wouldn't know how to write a check.
I know. Okay, here's what's happening on my end of the spectrum. I noticed it with my kid and his little generation. They don't know how to tie shoelaces. It was such a badge of honor when I was a kid. Now, the two demographics keeping slip-ons and Velcro shoes in business are elementary school students and retirement communities. By the way, just wondering, did you tie your own shoes today?
Yes, this is my own work.
Oh,
Thank
good
you.
for you. Friends, that is what's last on our list. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.
Tomorrow, let the list take you around the world. From ancient Egypt
You raced and hunted ostriches.
to Mexico.
All right, Yucatan.
Yeah.
Let's travel.
With something to quench your thirst. And a unique way to learn the language.
You're taking that step from listening into reading.
Go around the world tomorrow on The List.